Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another day of the Riyadh Masters 2023. It is MLP Dota and John X5. Jonathan, I do love your what is it? What even is that? What kind of shirt is that, John? Are those people on your shirt? It looks fantastic, very flamboyant, Jonathan.
Thank you, Mikey. You're looking great as well. The flower's still rocking on. And we're rocking on with the Riyadh Masters, of course. What day is it for groups? Day number 3 for the group stage. Day 5 overall, including the play-ins. So it's been quite the journey here in Riyadh already. A lot of teams starting to shape up here in the groups. Second to last day today, Mike. Not too many games left, and every single one counts even more now.
Second to last day of the group stages, to be exact. Just in case anyone thought the grand finals were on tomorrow, they are not. They're still a while away for that. Plenty of games going on, like you said, Jonathan. The group stages are coming to a close, but still a lot of these teams fighting for their position into the playoffs. As we are going to have a look at the schedule for the C stream today. It is, of course, 9Pandas against LGD starting things off, and then you've got BBT up against Talon right after that. And, of course, right after that, Jonathan, OG versus Quest Esports. And then BBT back up against Asta to finish us off for the night of the C stream. But some hype games to happen. 9Pandas versus LGD, which should be a real good one to watch. And, of course, even after that, your boys from Talon against BBT, which is arguably one of the better teams in the whole group stage.
That they
Very
are.
exciting.
It should be exciting. Talon right now at the same scoreline as BBT and Aster, although they have taken one additional draw, but dropping no losses. So that second series is certainly something to watch out for. Could determine where exactly the standings are in Group B for upper bracket start, of course, for both teams. A 2-0 for either side almost guarantees them an upper bracket start, but, again, there's still a few more games afterwards, so not quite cementing positions, but certainly a 2-0 for any team today is going to be massive, especially for our first series. 9Pandas up against PSG.LGD. LGD not doing the best, but they're still tied in for a lower bracket start, potentially. So a draw here doesn't save 9Pandas, it doesn't save PSG.LGD. It just means perhaps we start to get some real possibilities for tiebreakers here, Mike, if we don't find those 2-0s today.
I mean, theoretically, for LGD, if they can 2-0 every series they still have left, they could even be in the upper bracket for all they know. So, yeah, if they can start getting those 2-0s, then things could change very quickly. But right now, they're tied in 6th place, which is not the greatest feeling because they're in that elimination zone right now, which is a little bit dangerous for them. 9Pandas, on the other hand, of course, actually tied up with them, to be fair. So they're both in 6th place. So theoretically, there should be an even matchup between the two. Kind of like you said, John. Both teams looking for a 2-0 victory to try and shoot themselves up through the group stages. Because nobody wants to start in the lower bracket, and of course nobody wants to get eliminated before the playoffs even begin. So, very, very important. If you were to pick a favorite in this series just before the drafts even begin, Jonathan, who would you lean towards between 9Pandas and LGD?
Hard to say where I'd lean towards. Probably 9Pandas just a tad bit more. I think their draws have been pretty impressive in some of their games. It's been maybe a little bit more up and down, but it's been a rockier road for PSG.LGD. Granted, again, they've managed to find a 2-0 over OG, but they did manage to drop 2 series, one to Extreme Gaming and one to Team Spirit. And I think when you look at how 9Pandas performed up against some of those same teams, it does feel like the Pandas are a little bit more consistent in managing to take out draws rather than losses overall. So I would give 9Pandas the edge, but I wouldn't be surprised, again, with a 1-1 here for either team. So could go either way. It really depends on what form of 9Pandas we get for Game 1. I feel like it's always the Game 1s, which can be a little bit up and down for the good guys on 9Pandas. We've watched a lot of them, and sometimes it's a bad day. You can kind of tell early on if it's a bad day for the 9Pandas, but if it's a good day, you can also tell very quickly if they're feeling themselves.
That is very true, Jonathan. So you can tell very quickly when those bad days are coming, and we'll see if that's going to be one of those days for them. But going back to LGD for a moment, I was watching yesterday. They were up against Team Spirit, which was that was a really nice matchup between those two teams. Of course, Team Spirit still ended up 2-0ing LGD, but it was a closer matchup to say the least. Thing is with LGD, like this new stack has been struggling from every tournament we've seen. I would say not living up to necessarily the previous results of PSG.LGD as an organization. We're kind of used to them being the big bosses at the end of a playoff run for another team, but certainly hasn't felt that way as of late. Hopefully today they can switch things around. We are going to start our Game 1 draft, is what I was meant to say. LGD versus 9Pandas. See what bands coming. Obviously, heroes like the Broodmother, the Chen, the Ench. We see these heroes getting removed all the time. The Undying as well, of course. let's see.
Now, LGD just start off with the Broodmother ban, just preventing 9Pandas, preventing Miero from maybe considering that pickup. I don't think we've ever seen him manage to pick up the Broodmother at all. Although we have seen Kiyotaka play it at some point. A respectable ban, nothing too surprising. Are you going to ban the Undying here? Are you going to ban something like the Darkseer? Maybe the Enigma's worth banning, or the Chen Ench, as you mentioned. You go with the Undying for the 9Pandas. Again, nothing too different to ban out. There are a couple of pocket picks starting to come out, though, that have been left through the banning phase. Stuff like, say, Batrider has been going back in the Pause 4. So either team can kind of gun for that, although I do believe PSG.LGD leans into that a little bit more than 9Pandas. We haven't really seen the Pandas try to pick up something like the Bat. They have leaned into the Clinks a little bit more on the Pandas, though, when that option's left as well. Again, not high priorities to ban those two heroes, so you should be able to get away with one of those kinds of supports here. LGD taking care of the Enigma, which, again, we've seen rise up since the play-ins here, Mike. Has had a lot of impact. And the laning of Enigma is just... It's just really strong, playing up against Maleficent, playing up against one consistent creep denied, having an early creep army to just harass and trade hits with, being universal type as well for Enigma does actually provide quite the boon in early trades. You can start with like double branch to circle it, and you're pretty happy in trading right clicks with most supports there.
That you certainly are. We'll see the Batrider being removed as well by 9Pandas, which has been another popular pick. PSG.LGD, how do they want to start their draft? I mean, I can tell you straight off the bat for 9Pandas, they've got the Shadow Demon still sitting there for Solo, so chances are Solo will go back for the Shadow Demon. We either see him pick up Undying or Shadow Demon pretty much every game. LGD, on the other hand, it's a bit of a mixed bag with their own drafting. It's been very hard for this team again. Like, every game I've seen them, it's just so much pressure on the mid lane of nothing to say, it feels like. And I know the Chinese crowd in particular have been calling him the responsibility god as of late for having to kind of carry the team every time, as they are going to start with the Keeper of the Light, it seems.
And that can kind of set up for nothing to say's hero on the mid. Stuff like Storm Coddle has been highly effective. Leshrac Coddle is still there as well. Although they've been not really been picking up that Leshrac themselves here on PSG.LGD. But a stable start. Lots of combinations. Storm, Ember, certainly something they can tie in here for PSG.LGD. 9Pandas will steal away the Storm, though, on Kiyotaka. And they'll just take the Skywrath Mage to combine with it. So you don't have a top-up for the Storm, but you do have a stable combination to start to play with. And PSG.LGD instead will go for the Wind Ranger. They do bring it back. That should be a Wind Ranger mid up against the Storm. Not a comfy lane for the Storm Spirit whatsoever. You have to walk up for Static Remnant, free harass for the Wind Ranger. She can stand back with Power Shot. She has Wind Run to avoid your Overload charge as well. So this should be pretty easy to manage for nothing to say. There's always the threat of the early Skywrath Mage rotation, but gap closing onto the Wind Ranger before she can use Wind Run is a lot tougher than I think you'd expect. So it shouldn't be too tough for nothing to say overall.
That shouldn't be. You should definitely have the mid lane advantage. More bans to come. There's the Shadow Demon being removed from Solo, so Solo's not going to have that option to go back to. I think 9Pandas usually assume that the Shadow Demon's a safe pick to be able to go back to for Solo, considering it doesn't get banned out that often, but the LGD know that they're going to go back for that comfort, so they just remove it immediately. See what 9Pandas want to focus on. Now I do wonder as well, like, what do you pick up as the Pos 5? Because I do feel like every game it's either Undying or Shadow Demon, or for 9Pandas. So what else have they got here in the bag for themselves? Like, I think one game they played an Elder Titan Pos 5, if I remember correctly. In fact, that was 2 games that happened in a row against Quest. Yeah, I suppose that could fly out.
Could. They've got stuff like Chen still available as well. Maybe even something cheeky like the Ench, although it's mainly been Antares playing something like Ench. But an Ench would fit pretty nicely, though. Like, instant Dispel for Wind Run, so you wouldn't have to worry about that early on. It still has impact on either 4 or 5. Just going for no impetus build, just trading right-click and healing up, playing with your Enchant slow is still great. So I wouldn't mind something like Enchantress here for either Antares or Solo. I think it fits in either way. You can have just an easy answer for what Nothing Say will want to do early on. You can just try to pressure with a Wind Run. Not going to feel that great for a Wind Ranger. Your undispellable Wind Run talent is locked way far in your talent tree. So you're not going to be able to counteract that anytime soon. And sure, you could arguably build up a Lincoln's in this game, I suppose, or just a fast BKB, but the Wind Ranger does need some early output. Like, she does need some build up, like, say, the Gleipnir before you start to feel really comfy in trying to go for those pickoffs anyway.
That you do. One more ban to come before we can see some more pickups being made. 9Pandas just focusing on a bit of a mixed bag. They get rid of the Timber, they get rid of the Medusa. Medusa ban's interesting because we really just don't see that anymore. It does get removed just in case LGD were thinking about it. One more ban to go. Another hero 9Pandas could think about for that pulse 5 is the Oracle. It's another nice way of kind of dealing with the Wind Ranger Wind Run with the Fortune's End. And Oracle has proven to be very strong. Like, after those initial changes that were made to the Fate's Edict, it has really been showing up quite a bit as of late. Doesn't seem like the worst pick either. Like, when you've got a Storm Skywrath, it seems like it just kind of fits the bill. Pandas, they'll still think about this final ban before they do continue, and there's the Drow being removed as 9Pandas. They're going to go down the Doom route instead. Which is that Miero has been playing a lot of offlane Doom, so you can't quite blame them for that, because it's a bit of a comfort pick for him.
That it is. He's been playing, I don't know how many times you've seen Miero play Doom across multiple tournaments, probably in the DPC as well. So it's something that he knows the ins and outs of. He knows that you can have a stable matchup. There's still a few heroes that like playing into Doom. For the side of PSG.LGD, I suppose something like, say, Bloodseeker can kind of deal with the Doom lane early on, depending on your laning partner. If you are running something like a Kotl 5, Bloodseeker Kotl might not be the scariest. You can try for some blinding light plays back into the Bloodright, but not the highest pressure for the first 2 levels at least. So you should be able to have some pretty manageable lanes here for 9Pandas. The Mars does come out for PSG.LGD, and this is something that we also have seen a resurgence of. They've been very comfy in giving that to Niu. And Niu does deliver the goods when he does play his Mars. And we've seen some good plays from him before. So it ties in nicely. You get a good Mars-Kotl combination as well if you will run something like the Pause 4 Kotl. There it goes the Bane as well for PSG.LGD. Just having stable lockdown on hand as well. It has felt like a pretty damn good hero. It's not been picked up too much, but you can do a lot with just laning harass. You are, incredibly enough, you are a universal type. So again, like a couple of early stats, and yeah, you nightmare someone, you right click down. It's actually a lot of damage. You have to respect that. There goes the silencer for 9Pandas. They will just go in for another solo comfort pick. A lot of control coming out in terms of, well, silencing. It's never going to be smooth for the Bane to get that grip off, as silencer will just ruin you. So even the Ags is not going to save you here for PSG.LGD. If you can even farm up the Ags on the Bane 5, your grip is just not going to last long. Love this counter pick from 9Pandas. They don't opt for the Ench, but perhaps you feel confident enough in just having a Sky instantly silenced that you're not too worried about the Wind Run being annoying here.
Right. More curious about the Bane, because I haven't. Like, I'm a Bane enjoyer, Jonathan. I must admit I haven't seen much of it popping up as of late, but it has come up a couple times throughout the group stages. You seem to believe it's pretty strong right now. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I just haven't had enough experience with the new Bane to know exactly how strong. Yeah. My question is to you, Jonathan. How much emphasis do you put on a spell like Enfeeble? Because Enfeeble itself, since the changes, it feels so broken. But I don't feel as though you see it enough.
It really depends. I think in this lane, you're still likely going for your usual build-up with a Brain Sap trade. But there's a lot of value in Enfeeble. I think you can't discount it. And mind you, I've seen a lot of Bane, Mike, but none of my experiences are relevant because I've seen Bane in Turbo Mid. So none of it actually counts. I've seen Diffusal Mask of Madness Banes all too often, Mike. All too often. And sometimes it works. A lot of times it doesn't. Thank goodness it's not going to be. No chance of that happening in a pro game, as PSG.LGD do pick up the Terrorblade coming out.
Maybe nothing to say busts out the mid bane tech that we're hearing. No, from you. If nothing to say chose mid bane, I wouldn't know what to say to you anymore, Jonathan. NTS is watching the Jonix Fire Turbo games apparently.
No. God, no, I hope not. Certainly hope not. Nothing to say has better things to do, for sure.
Yeah.
Terrorblade coming out, 9Pandas, not really the easiest solutions to something that big. And you've got the Doom, which is always good against transformation heroes. If you can get the Doom off first. You do have magic damage on hand as well from 9Pandas, right? Like Sky Rat Mage, Ancient Seal in lane. Sky Rat Mage plus Doom in lane. That's a lot of early harass onto the TB. And like that 9Pandas just to the for Ramses. We've seen him perform this hero before. A Jug Silencer lane can be somewhat aggressive, although it is maybe a little bit trickier up against the Mars, but if you can slow him down, spin on top, you've got the damage here to actually look for those early kills. Overall, in terms of drafting, it comes out rather even. I think you do worry about Shiro's game. This does feel like a very fast, I don't know, Manta BKB game for the Terrorblade, as there is a lot of spell damage here. Your lockdown for the Storm is somewhat there with Bane, but again, once you hit level 6 on the Silencer, gripping any of these heroes down, just not a possibility. Really great drafting overall, dancing around this on 9Pandas.
Yeah, I think so too. I think 9Pandas certainly look like they may have just come out with a better draft here against LGD, but it's hard to know, Jonathan. These two teams are tied up in the group stages, so this hope can kind of climb over the other. You would require a 2-0 victory for that. If it's a draw, then they're probably just going to sit at the exact same spot together. See how it all pans out. Game number 1 between 9Pandas and PSG.LGD will be getting underway rather soon. See if these drafts can work out. I mean, personally, again, Jonathan, I haven't had the pleasure of seeing much Bane, so I'd love to see this hero pop off a little bit, because I need a new hero to spam my pops, Jonathan. I've been lacking a new MMR kind of hero, so you know, Bane hopefully is the one. Hopefully.
You just play it if you feel like it's good.
You know why? Because I the day using Bane, and then they changed Brain Sap, and then I just got upset, and I just never played it again. And that was it. They changed so many things with Bane, I was just like, nah, I'm done. I'm one of those old men, Jonathan. Once I'm used to something, you can't change. You can't give me a new phone, John. I don't know how to use it. I'm old.
Get a new phone almost every other year.
Well, you get what I'm saying, Jonathan? Right? I'm just, using an analogy. An analogy. Analogy is what I'm trying to say. I can't even say the damn word.
I'm loving this. Where we're this house coming out and that saying hello to each other, tips out. So high spirits once more. You know, this could be a good sign, right? When 9Pandas are feeling themselves like this, being all friendly, could mean a good game for them. Certainly have the draft to back it up.
I appreciate them using the, speaking Mandarin as well for the sake of being able to communicate with LGD. Very, very good sportsmanship from 9Pandas, I would argue. Unless it's BM, but I don't think it is. Although,
yeah.
No. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see if they fight over the bounty runes. It seems like 9Pandas are going to set up for the top bounties. LGD looking to set up for the bottom. Highly doubt we see a big team fight breakout here at level 1. 9Pandas probably just want to avoid that altogether. You do have the chance for New to move in to try and steal this top bounty, but he's got God's Rebuke. He can't force them away. Very, very nice start for either side, and we can start with the bottom lane because we're already here, as Untitled is going to do the Sentry Ward trick again. I do enjoy this trick. I think this is a great way of starting your laning phase. Antara is now going to go for the body block on the creep wave. LGD, they're not really in position to try and do the same thing. Like, you do have YU Small trying to do the exact same thing with the Dire Creeps, but Mira's just going to intervene now with the Scorched Earth, and YU Small misses out. It's going to be a pretty nice start for Mira, which, to be fair, it's usually the Doom lanes that we see do this a lot, right? Because Doom is one of the heroes that doesn't like his level 1 timing very much. Would rather just have a big creep wave underneath this tier 1 tower if he can.
Yeah, should be able to set up for that. You do get almost all the creeps out for Shiro, so he's not feeling too bad. Just gonna have to accept the Doom's just gonna be able to build up a little bit more. But as long as you get your farm in Shiro, you're not gonna hurt too much. And as long as you can try to control the lane, get some denies going on the second wave, should still be pretty stable, although you will have to worry about the build-up early on. Again, there's a lot of magic damage in this lane.
Miro, he's going to be left to leave. Miro not going for the chase down because he did run out of the Scorched Earth. But you do tend to see how fast it just stacks up the amount of damage here with Untitled. Why you Smile trying to trade harass with him? He might just be dead. It's kind of the weak point of the Bane, John. This is one of the reasons I stopped playing it. It just doesn't feel good trading harass anymore. Well, to be fair, YU Smile was out of position that time, but already a pretty strong start for 9Pandas.
Just making great use of their initial mana pool. finding an early first blood, setting up that aggressive lane for themselves. Taking a look at the other lanes while we've got some time. Nothing to say up against Kiyotaka on the Wind Ranger and Storm. And this one theoretically is pretty good for the Wind Ranger, although Kiyotaka right now is managing pretty damn well. If you can land some Overload in, if you can land some static randoms up closely, it can still be tricky for the Wind Ranger. Not the healthiest hero, although as a universal type, it does love stat spamming here.
Oh, nothing to say, he misses out on the deny. He was mid-animation to deny that water rune off, but kind of cancelled a little bit early. A bit unfortunate. Kiyotaka's still going to take the water rune away from him. Nothing to say, we'll get one of his own as well, to be fair, but just doesn't get the deny he wanted. And I'll tell you, considering we thought the Wind Ranger would have a better time in the mid lane, it's not feeling that way. Kiyotaka's really pressuring quite hard. Nothing to say, constantly having to try and abuse the Wind Run. So Kiyotaka is the one winning out as bottom lane. Now Shiro's gone. Untitled. He'll find a second.
They're leveraging all of that magic damage down bot really damn well. There's just no way YU Smile can stop it. No value point to Nightmare to try to cut off that chase from Nero. And Bane in early lane, it does feel pretty atrocious. You will need a lot of levels to start to feel a lot better. So they're really taking advantage of that quite nicely on the side of 9Pandas. Already a strong start across pretty much all their lanes. Maybe the top lane's a little bit better here for PSG.LGD in that you are getting some farm on you, but you're also not stopping Ramses from just doing what he wants.
Chasing them down bottom lane. That's a big curse coming out from Solo now, rotating through the twin gates, and it looks like they'll just chase down Shiro. Shiro, okay for now, but they need more heroes to come in to help out. YU Smile is still going to drop as Solo is still hanging around, still looking for another curse. He doesn't have the cooldowns yet, but he's waiting. 3 seconds away as Miero's rushing in now with the Infernal Blade. Shiro trying to survive through this, will juke through the tree line. The chase is still ongoing. They can see the TB. They've got the Scorched Earth. They'll chase him down, but more TP's coming in. Now from YU Smile, who has respawned onto Untitled. They'll at least take the Skywrath down. And 9Pandas, they stuck around so long that YU Smile just ends up respawning. And now Solo denies himself to Roshan.
A major win for LGD. The fact that the Sky found all those kills means the streak is a pretty nice one to find. Maybe not the hero that you'd want it to really go out to, and Plant does pick it up, but you are relieving some of that pressure. It's still a ton of space created for 9Pandas, so Ramses is having the freest farm in the world, just getting the pulse off, clearing out the creeps, getting his farm up. Should have a decent timing into his Battle Fury unless some aggression starts to come out. You could argue the same for New on the Mars, who has been left alone. But it does feel like this plays into what 9Pandas likes.
Oh, bottom. Shiro. Again, John, the aggression never stops here. Shiro, though, surviving with the raindrops. Miero now, the one taking a lot of damage, but will be just fine. Again, they go. Concussive shot. The raindrop's going to save Shiro again. What are you losing 2 charges, though, and it's not going to take long for Antares to get through all these charges with the way this is going. Look at this. Shiro, every time he shows, Antares just pops the W. Another charge got.
And there's just no relief from Y. You can't go for the Nightmare value point, is going for the Enfeeble, 2-1 on the build-up, but just not able to control the lane. And you're getting off with a strong start here for 9Pandas. You are starting to find more farm for Shiro. Despite all that harassment back, he is starting to see us a little bit better.
Bit of a shame for nothing to say, John. Kiyotaka got shackled, but it did not latch onto a tree. So the duration was very, very short. Nothing to say, could not finish off the job. Back down to the bot lane. 9Pandas again, very aggressively just posturing against Shiro, who can do nothing as the blood grenade from Solo does land. Shiro just cannot be left alone. He's gone. Planet rotating on the keeper, trying to help out, but it's too late. 9Pandas, they just have no remorse for this Terrorblade. YU Smile trying to run desperately, will not pop the concussive shot, but he's still dead. More in to go the way of Solo, who now has 4 stolen already. Rotation.
Ramses
Incoming. Ramses in the meantime goes down to new top lane. They do at least trade nicely against the Jug as bottom and Tartas is going to go down. Miero being chased as well, but should be just fine. LGD showing signs of life, taking down the Jug and taking down the Skyrim.
Again, pretty big kills coming out from both sides. That solo kill onto Ramses is the more concerning one, as Yu finds another.
Beautiful kills here from New at the top lane, just doing all this by himself. Why you smile, very happy from the safe lane. And this is literally all by himself. New has had no help this whole time. Quite impressive. Zip in though. Kiyotaka going to try and punish him now. A nice spear away. Ramsey's on the chase. Kiyotaka trying as well, but out of mana. Cannot chase the Mars down. The New will survive another day. Planet, on the other hand, cannot make it. Planet will go down.
Yeah, was looking for the Wisdom Rune steal. 9Pandas on point for the defense. Will be a 1-for-1 trade there in the end. But New, man, he's making so much space. Might fall now. There you go.
He goes down. Kiyotaka just not willing to give up on that kill. Does eventually get it, but yeah, I mean, he has made a lot of space. He might need more though, because Shiro again is being chased. Every single time they see this guy show up, they go right after him, knowing he cannot be defended. Shiro may still survive just barely, but Untitled is there with the arcane bolt and the concussive shot, and the raindrops will only do so much. Shiro has died for a third time. And you know, John, we were questioning the Bane pickup earlier. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, the Bane, if you don't get off to a good laning start, you can't help your carry when they just dive you like this.
His positioning in that first blood was just way too far forward. Has to understand he doesn't have that much to trade with. Losing out there meant the EXP was just flowing in for 9Pandas off the back of the sentry as well. And why still in danger here?
Dead. Yeah, he stuck around for the creep wave. So he's just as good as dead. Nightmare's going to delay it a little bit, but not for long. Miera will happily take the kill himself. 4-9 already.
Now it's a party.
I mean, Shiro has found some great CS at least, but you look at the net worth, he's sitting at 2.8k. Very, very low in the net worth department. And that is mostly due to the fact that he just continues to die down at this bottom. So, I mean, the bottom tier 1 tower's gone anyway. Shiro, it's time to jungle.
This is something that he can get done quite nicely with a Conjure Images at the very least. No forward vision just yet on the side of 9Pandas to spot out that Terrorblade. There should be fairly safe farming up there. You also have Ramsey's kind of AFK farming now as well. He still maintains a slight lead. He would want to see the Jug start to get into that Battle Fury to really start to accelerate here, but the rest of 9Pandas are ready to move as a unit. They've got the Doom threat ready from Miera, although he is going back to Midas. They're not going to have an easy angle to just blink forward just yet. But Antares is nearing 6 very early on for the Sky Rat Mage. Off the back of those kills, off the Wisdom Rune. Once you've got that threat of Ancient Seal plus the jump in from Kiyotaka and the Mystic Flare, it will make short work of anyone to throw us on the map. You'll have to watch yourself a bit here on LGD as their mid is being slowly pressured to push. Not the fastest from 9Pandas, but it's a decent amount of pressure here.
It certainly is, forcing LGD to rotate both supports in to try and defend this. And Kiyotaka, he's not exactly afraid. It's a pretty free Storm game. Apart from maybe against the Bane, but the Bane's not having a good enough time to really have that impact yet, as now Planet getting dived past the tier 1 tower. New's going to try and help out. Hits the spear, but Kiyotaka was out of the arena. Instead, they'll try and go after Solo, and we'll get it. Brain Sap and the final right click proving to be enough. Ensure why you smile claims the kill is Kiyotaka in the meantime, trying to find a way out of this. Could be okay. Miera even going to rotate now with the Doom out onto New. They want the Mars down. Nothing to say is around to help. Ooh. A great Shackles out is going to buy a bit of time. They might have to deny though, but they will not get it. Antares still secures the kill as Kiyotaka. He's out of mana. This could be a big kill for Nothing to Say to claim. Kiyotaka, though, still running, does avoid the power shot. Is now Nothing to Say. Getting very, very low. Does stick charge up. Still surviving. Chasing down Kiyotaka. But the Storm is fine. He will zip away again. Smiero, maybe he's the one to go down. Maybe you kill off the Doom. The power shot will do the job. Onto Antares they go. The responsibility god trying his best to get as much as he can for his team as he'll get a power shot. And now a Shackle. Nothing to Say. He'll get the third. Kiyotaka's down. Oh, he played that perfectly on the Wind Ranger.
Oh, that he did. Finding these opportunities. The side of 9Pandas playing really greedy and constantly hunting down between that tier 2 and tier 1. Does get punished in the end. And there is some room now for Shiro to show up for a little bit of a shove on that mid-tier 1. The early metamorphosis into the mid-tier 1 push. Good moving out. They know Doom's down. The respawn's a little bit longer on the Storm, but still have to be a little bit cautious here.
Chase is on for Chiro. Oh, they've got the Fiend's Grip now, but the Global Silence is going to come in immediately from Solo, and now a 3-man blood grenade into the zip-in from Kiyotaka. Chiro cannot survive. He has no Sunder up.
Oh, no.
Kiyotaka, he just cleans up. Oh, what a fight coming up from 9Pandas. Everyone's just getting wiped. Yu's trying to run, but he will not make it. Planet the only survivor. And that's only because Kiyotaka's out of mana.
Yeah. Just gets away because they're out of juice here on the side of 9Pandas, but and 9Pandas executing so well, understanding that they had the spells. You know, such low cooldown on the Mystic Flare. You've got the Global Silence to counteract the Grip. PSG.LGD maybe not expecting that level 6 to come out in Solo at that point. And look at this, continued aggression. Just another smoke out. 9Pandas, Antares, Solo, Kiyotaka looking for more.
Mid lane again, they know somebody's going to be around. They can pick off Nothing to Say and feel amazing. Smoke out from LGD now running right towards Kiyotaka and Solo. There's a haste rune on Kiyotaka, so it's not going to be the easiest kill. Kiyotaka now will break the smoke of YU Smile. He does go for the Enfeeble rather than the Nightmare though. YU Smile. Running back his way out. Planet's going to get jumped, but Solo does get jumped at the same time. Should be a 1-for-1. Solo will be left on the high ground to die. Yu even showing up at the last moment just in case they needed it. Meanwhile, bottom, Shiro. Say hello to Ramses. Ramses showing up now at the bottom lane. He'll eventually back his way up. I believe he has the full Battle Fury on the way on the Courier, so... Well, the Jug farm set to escalate quite quickly as now Kiyotaka shows up onto Shiro with the Mystic Flare. It's all too much. Shiro has the Sunder but can't get it off with the Ancient Seal out from Antares. And now Ramsey's just handing the tip over on the Jug. And Shiro, you're at that stage now, you just can't be around this area anymore. Kiyotaka's just too big.
No, he certainly is. Just the ganking squad of Sky plus Storm is just way too much. And again, you picked Terrorblade into this. It was an early Skyrath Mage pickup here. You knew you were going to have a tough time with something like the Terrorblade. Relying so much on the armor. Doesn't have a Self-Dispel on hand to deal with the silence yet. Long ways off from finishing up that full Manta. Needs so much more room to farm up. Room that he's not really getting. Inside of LGD though, will smoke up. I can say you and why. Moving out here, they've got the blink on you. And start to surprise 9Pandas on their own terms here.
Antares. Nice vision. Oh, Ramses. You see him. Oh, he's just about to show on the vision. Ramses does get caught new with a great spear around, catching the Jug. Ramses trying to go for an Omni, can't make it. Will go down. They even got Solo. Solo just completely surrounded, slowed up by the Solar Blade into a great Shackles. Nothing to say. Landing another 2-man. Arena Town as well, just to ensure Antares is not making it out. LGD off the back of the Wind Ranger, making the work happen.
Again, a great blink reveal coming out here from you as well. Finding the big target for that smoke, having the forward vision to get that done. They even bait out Global Silence. You're not gonna have that GS, and you've got the grip ready on Y. They could actually make a feasible play onto Kiyotaka without any sort of save here from the side of 9Pandas. And see if LGD finds the opening down the line, but pretty big committal from the sports here on 9Pandas. Again, Solo without Global Silence means Y is going to have a bit of a game to play, at least for now.
Oh, absolutely.
He's going Phylactery Bane as well.
Oh, I love it. I'm not saying it's good, but when this Phylactery first came out, I automatically thought to myself, Phylactery Bane might be a build. Because you have a way of just... Enfeeble becomes a damage spell, you know, Brain Sap actually feels viable. I don't mind it, but at the same time, I don't necessarily think it's the item you need right now for Why You Smile. That's kind of my issue with it, John. Like, does he actually need it? Ramses, he's gonna get speared up, but he has the Healing Ward out. Why You Smile, gonna get force-staffed away by Planet, but is still just gonna die. Nice Shackles on Solo, gonna ensure they can try to follow up, and now the zip in with the Vortex. Nothing to say, trying so hard to get Solo, but he's gonna drop. Here, Taka now with the Orchid up, he's just causing even more issues. At least he won't get the regen room, because New will take it. But now you've got double silence available on 9Pandas. This is where things get very tough for Nothing to Say.
And it does. And still a ways off from getting anything defensive coming out here on the side of LGD. Saw the effect of just the Pavis and solo. More than enough to copy that initial damage from that focus fire. Level 1 focus fire. Doesn't feel the best. Trying to burst down some of these targets. Mid tower will fall now as well. 9Pandas. A lot of back and forth, but 13 to 19, 3k up. They've gotten space out for Ramsey. He's going back for the S and Y. And he's going to be able to have a pretty fantastic time. Is above and beyond Shiro's farm right now. Almost about 500 gold ahead. Not the biggest as they jump for more.
Yeah, well, his smile's gone. Easy peasy. Antares, John, he's got a full Dagon coming out. There's a full Dagon on the Skywrath coming out. Now, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because you're against the Terrorblade, so you can burst down the illusions. You know, against the Wind Ranger, it's going to feel nice. And, well, to be fair, when you're in this much control of the game, you may as well just go for a Dagon in your Skywrath. Why not?
Yeah. Doesn't feel like they need anything defensive out of the Pavis. You can only really focus fire one target anyway. And you're not expecting Shiro to show up anytime soon with his own right-click damage. You've got more than enough magical nuke to take care of him. So I love the confidence from Pandas as they go for a 4-man smoke.
They do. LGD. I mean, they are hanging around the Radiant jungle at the moment. Pings are out towards Miro, but he is not the easiest target with that play. 9Pandas in the meantime, controlling the bottom side of the map. We'll get some vision down. Get some D-wards down, rather. But it seems like it's all in the name of just buying more time for Ramses to farm safely on the Jug, to be fair. Because you've got a Storm Doom Jug core lineup. It's not like these guys get any weaker as time goes on. Mind you, you might feel a little bit afraid of the Terrorblade as the time goes on, but I dare say 9Pandas are fairly comfortable scaling into the late game. While you smile, gonna find Solo. Miro is there to zone him out though. In fact, Miro rushing forward. Not gonna find anything, but does protect Solo.
Just ensuring that good old Solo doesn't have to be fed to the wolves here. Old PSG.LGD still in position to make something happen. They've still got that Blink Arena to play with here.
Yeah, they're trying to the storm, but a quick zip out. Very, very fast into the Mystic Flare and Dagon. You surely doesn't die from this, but oh, he gets close. He gets very close to dropping. One more spell probably would have done the trick. But he does make it this time. My goodness.
That's just an argument for Dagon 5, Mike. Yeah, Antares, something.
That's true.
Build it up. He
That's
is
true.
going for the Blink first as they try to get more here.
Why are you smart moving in for a casual nightmare onto Miero, but it may cost him his life. Antares just slowly chipping away. Kiyotaka will happily zip in. Oh, but hold on a minute. The whole team was there.
Oh, no, it's not enough.
It's not enough anyway. Kiyotaka's fine. Miero, he might be the big victim though. 9Pandas, they are sticking around. Miero gonna try for a TP attempt out. Actually,
No
just
way.
gonna make it. Are you kidding me? How does he just TP like that?
That is so dirty. That's just so dirty. They only do... Their stun is tied in to their Bane right now, right? They already used Shackle early on to pin down Kiyotaka. The Pavis coming in clutch once more to save Kiyotaka as well.
Yeah.
It's just not enough. It's just not enough coming out from PSG.LGD. And I know, like, it stems down maybe a little bit to, again, that first blood being fed by Y. And then the lane just kind of collapsed from there. But your hero choices as well. Like, nothing to say. Theoretically, again, we've seen Wind Ranger win up against Storm much more often than the Storm winning up against Wind Ranger. Didn't come out in this game. So he's off to a slower build-up. Even with the Gleipnir, just doesn't feel like he's bouncing enough damage out.
No.
They'll try with a smoke play here, though.
I accept this offer.
I think it also goes back, like, I'm looking at the item build of Why You Smile, and I don't want to be too critical, John, but he went from Phylactery to Ag's Rush to now Glimmer Cape. And my whole thing is, you're holding this point booster that just feels like it does nothing for you, right? Like, this 1.2k gold you spent, it could have been a Glimmer Cape, almost, you know, that you could have had made up as for Kiyotaka. Quick reactions to the Orchid. Not landed as good as dead into the Nightmare and the Fiend's grip, but he'll be alright. But you get my point, right? Like, if you had a Glimmer Cape, you'd feel a lot better as the Bane.
Yeah, Glimmer Cape, maybe having your own force staff so you're not so reliant on Planet to just bail people out here. Heck, even Aether Lens wouldn't be too bad for Y.
Anything. Any support.
Literally anything. Beyond this point, so yeah, it's been rough for Y. It's been rough overall for PSG.LGD as the Roche does get started here, but aside from 9Pandas. And it is fairly quick. They've got good damage coming out from Ramses. He's going for the butterfly next, man. With a full SNY, he's going to be tanky, and he's going to start dishing some big damage with the Omnis coming through here. Not that you need to really focus on the Terrorblade matchup anyway. You still have the magical burst. The Manta is up for Shiro, which will help, but Manta alone is not enough. As long as they use one spell to force out the Manta, save another source of silence afterwards, you're still going to be able to magically burst down that TV.
There you are. Because the Aegis going to Kiyotaka. 5-man smoke immediately from 9Pandas going through the twin gates, at least for Antares, but there's Kiyotaka going with him. They've got to know LGD is on this side of the map somewhere. And that they would certainly be correct with that assumption. Pandas slowly will start drawing the lines right towards LGD. It's very challenging as well, because you haven't gotten to the point where anyone's put a Lotus Sword against the judge, right? So you've got no easy way of duking out these Omni Slashes. As Kiyotaka, just look at this dive in. No cares in the world, but he does get Nightmare. So he will at least not be able to finish off the Coddle kill. But now Why You Smile going to cop an Omni right into the creep wave, but eventually he will die. They've got it. It took a little bit.
That's efficiency. That's
he got some bombers for.
Yeah, you clear out the creep wave, you find a kill. You know, maybe not the biggest kill in the world, but you get that Omni Slash on cooldown, and you're building up into the butterfly. You know, you're happy. You're a happy customer right now on Ramses. And the side of PSG.LGD, again, it's still a little bit of a struggle, Mike. Like, even with this Scotty coming out for Shiro, without something like the BKB, it just doesn't feel sustainable. Yes, Manta's there, but again, you've got Orchid plus Ancient Seal. You're going to have to take care of one of those spells, and I'm sure 9Pandas at this point are disciplined enough to hold on to the other piece of control until after the Manta's popped. It's not going to get any easier just yet for Shiro. We're looking at a BKB coming out for Nothing to Say as well. The Wind Rager's damage output just hasn't been enough. That one damn Pavise, man, more than enough to ruin a mid laner's ult. That's very nice.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is, Jonathan. There we go. LGD, I mean, they're still grouped up. They're still trying to find a way back into this game. And if they can pick off Miero, that could be a great start as the arena is going to go down. He got the pipe in time, though. So Miero's a bit tankier, but still in trouble. Nightmare is going to stop the TP. Miero's still trying to find a Doom target. Can't get one. So LGD, they get away with that kill. Very nice start for them. Maybe a bit more than they would have liked to commit in the end. But they can still try and pressure perhaps this mid tier 2 tower. But they're pinging up the top tier 2. They want that instead.
This is them playing into the Aegis as well. They're finding openings. They know that there's a safety net for 9Pandas. They find a pick off. They're taking what they can while they can. 9Pandas, though. 3-man smoke once more.
Scotty's not up on Shiro yet. Shiro, he's going to TP out in time. Why You Smile, though, going to the outpost will get punished for this. And is unwilling to give the outpost away. Nothing to say now, revealing he's still around the area with that power shot. 9Pandas looking to try and intervene and go into that Radiant Triangle, see if they can cut him off. Nothing to say, does run towards the Lotus Pool instead, so he's not going to be around that area. 1-for-1, certainly in the favor of LGD, as they are getting away with murder, it feels like. Now Shiro. He's got the gold for the Scud. He looks like he's just holding on to his buyback gold as well, just in case. One bad team fight and they could just go high ground on you. Just hold on to the buyback gold to boot. Ramses, on the other hand, just going straight for the butterfly pickup. Just needs about 50 gold. And this is where things are going to get very scary now for LGD.
Courier?
Dip in. Mid lane. Courier is going to make its way out with the Eye of Skadi. So there you go. Shiro picks it up.
Figured they saw that courier. They had ward, and they saw the courier going back and forth for a while. Don't snipe it. It's a nice pickup for Shiro. Gonna have the stats ready, the healing reduction ready on hand. Just need the positioning. If they can get a good arena, prevent that silence from coming out onto Shiro, then you can win a lot of these fights here.
Not many buybacks on the map either here, John. Like, there's one support buyback each team. Untitled. Oh, in fact, never mind. They've got some more buybacks now. Shiro just got enough gold for himself, and that's a big one. Kiyotaka now having enough gold for his buyback. We'll find a nice double damage rune for himself. That's going to certainly help in the next team fight. Speaking of, it may start soon because they've already found Why You Smile. Limmercape is going to buy him a little bit of time to get out. In fact, the Spirit's quite nice. Another Shackle. Not going to land. The blinding light. They were perfectly lined up for that shackle, but the blinding light knocked Ramses away. Now the Fiend's grip onto Miero. They're still going to try. Into the meta they go, and now the shackle coming out. Miero copping so much damage. Kiyotaka cannot save him, but maybe they can kill off Shiro. Shiro is not down yet, but is getting very, very low, and surely drops looking for a Sunder. He's going to get it onto the Keeper of the Light. Kiyotaka not done yet, though. Still trying to fight, but gets speared up by New. He'll zip back towards his team. Solo looks like he's going to be left behind. Kiyotaka getting stunned up. New finds him. Perfect spear from New. Kiyotaka, he will go down. Shiro to take the kill. And suddenly LGD are ahead in this game 1.
On the openings, again, they paid out all the spell usage from 9Pandas quite nicely. They stacked their protection onto Shiro. The 4-staff plays from Planet this entire game has been keeping them in these fights on the side of LGD. And New, again, a madman coming in with these spears. Spearing up the Doom, spearing up the Jug, spearing up the Storm in that entire fight. Like, he just gave all the openings out for LGD. And the side of 9Pandas, again, they were forcing the fight in a really tight spot. They couldn't get the Doom off earlier onto the bigger target. They couldn't get the Doom off onto Nothing Say before the Focus Fire came out as well. So he's just free to do the damage and then back off. And 9Pandas, maybe just feeling a little bit confident to rush up now. Still have to respect that if you don't gap close onto the Terrorblade, and if you just allow this control to come out from the side of PSG.LGD, it goes their way. They've got the output. And Shiro's #1 in net worth. He's managed to climb his way back up very nicely here. And does have his full butterfly up now as well. So you don't have anything like the MKB coming out anytime soon on Ramsey. He's going for his Ags first for the Swift Slash. And LGD, I mean, it was a slower start for sure, but their execution's been so tight. And just is the fact that Y now is, well, I thought Y had his Glimmer Cape up, but he is still going for the Ags. Glimmer Cape saves from Planet. Like, Planet's been doing all the work. Now, Glimmer Cape's 4-staff. This man's been on point on his coddle here.
He has. He's playing the real +5, I think, here for the side of LGD. Is why he's certainly playing a greedier game right now on the Bane for sure. Mind you, the Ags is super strong once you do get it on the Bane. Like, the 45-second cooldown is kind of the main point, but just having those illusions channeling the Fiend script to ensure they can't cancel that easily is going to be pretty nice. To be fair, Solo does have Global Silence, so it may not matter anyway, but the lower cooldown's always really good. ODD. Looking to defend this bottom tier 2 tower. Kiyotaka on the high ground waiting to jump in. Doesn't seem like they're going to find themselves a very nice angle. OGD now pressing forward. Miero put a blink away as he does have the vision on the high ground. That'll get dewatered immediately. Yu still hunting down. Miero trying to go through the twin gate with the spear. The spear's going to land. Yu getting the vision into the Fiend's grip, cancelling the TP. Great guess from Yu. That's what you wanted to see. That's your position 3 Doom just going down for nothing.
Does take the grip, but you don't mind too much. These pickoffs massive for the side of PSG.LGD. And just New is just insane. His game sense just so on point. And 9Pandas again dropping the ball a little bit. You know, they went with this really confident build up on Antares. Yeah, you still get some utility out with Dagon for sure. But now you start to wonder whether or not, you know, maybe an earlier Glimmer Cape, maybe an earlier Atrial Lens here would have helped the cause for Antares and helped the team a little bit more outside of just this Burst Blade. Because right now it's not seeming feasible to burst down the back line. You're having issues in trying to just pin down Planet or Y. I'd argue that Planet's probably the bigger target. If you can find him first, take away that 4-staff and Glimmer Cape, a lot of your issues do disappear. There's your full Ags up for Y. So that lower cooldown Fiend's Grip ready. And that's massive because Global Silence it's always 100 seconds. Until something like the refresh is out for Solo, which is not something that you're going to be able to farm up in the Silencer this game all too fast for Solo. So you're always going to have an edge now in these prolonged fights. And these fights have been dragging for a while here for both sides.
Yeah, there's certain fights you certainly can pull off 2 Fiend scripts, that's for sure, with that 45-second cooldown. Here we go. Charging in, 9Pandas looking for that fight. Keep in mind, Ramses has his own Ags up, so the Swift Slash is available. They are moving into LGD, but LGD have got vision around the bottom lane. Nero, not breaking his smoke yet. Why are you smile? Just waiting in the tree line for that perfect moment to try and make a jump in.
Radiant are scanning.
Definitely not going to hesitate with the Fiend's Grip at all now. Just smoke out. Roshan has started though. 9Pandas. They're going to force the fight. Jiro is looking massive. Iyotaka going to get caught by the Gleipnir. We'll be fine. Nothing to follow up with. They just didn't have the vision of the high ground. They'll try to get some D wards out while they can. Looks like they will get away with that as Roshan's still half HP. Ramsey's still trying. Spear out. They've caught Miero. That's a Doom picked up. Arena down to block everyone else. They'll commit the Swift Slash into the Omni Slash. It's bouncing into the backside onto the supports though. They've at least got Planet down. And now they've got Why You Smile down to boot. Buyback was immediate from Planet. He'll be back into the team fight, but 9Pandas immediately retreating out of there. They've committed everything. So now Roshan might just go the way of LGD. But 9Pandas, they can't let this happen for free. To be fair, they did force a buyback, but it doesn't seem to really feel like enough. Question is, can you actually fight this? Maybe you can try for a steal with Kiyotaka. Miera has a blink as well. Miera, he'll jump in and give the vision, though it's a bit too early. They are going to throw a Mystic Clear up to New, and now the Swift Flash coming out. Shiro, he's trying to go for the Aegis. He does pick it up. They've got it onto the Terrorblade. Shiro, he might be too big to deal with now. They do at least kill off New, but it seems like 9Pandas need to leave the area. It is not safe. Solo's been left behind. Antares is going to try and stay around and help
Ramses?
out. Ramses rushing back in.
Ramses?
Fiend's Grip is out. Ramses.
What?
What was that? Well, he had the Swift Slash, but that was it. It wouldn't have been enough anyway.
Certainly not. And 2 lives on Shiro. Even with Metamorphosis down, that second life was going to be dicey no matter what without the full Omni on hand. Hey, you were relatively healthy on everyone else as well.
What?
I'm not sure. Just a little bit overconfident. 9Pandas. It's starting to fall apart a little bit here. PSG.LGD just on point. They've managed to hit their big item spikes. His full Satanic up for Shiro. He can sustain in the front line. He's going for his own MKB now. You've had your BKB up for nothing saying. Now with a full Ags up as well. Detection going to be massively important for the side of 9Pandas just to pin down the Wind Ranger. And for 9Pandas, it's all down to execution, right? Like, Miero's getting caught off guard first. He's not able to get the big moves onto these pivotal targets. He's not able to start these fights with the War Stomps.
Tier 3 tower is not going to last too long at this rate. Yotaka buying out a full sight device now in preparation for a big defense. They'll have the Crimson Guard to come out of 9Pandas as well to try and protect these tier 3 towers and racks. Solo, realizing the hard way you can't get too close to Shiro at the moment. And they are doing a decent job of slowing this racks being taken, but ultimately Shiro does not look like he's planning to back off anytime soon. Maybe they can force the fight while the Metamorphosis is slowly expiring, but it still has about 1/4 of its duration left. LGD, they're just casually going to back off towards the Dire Tormentor instead. I mean, why not? Now they're in just full control of this game. Props to LGD for making this happen, because it was a pretty tough start to this game 1. But they're in a position where they are certainly in the lead.
That they are. They punished the overextensions from 9Pandas. That fight in the high ground triangle on the Radiant side. Really the beginning of this topsy-turvy game for the side of 9Pandas and slipping away. And it's their game now is contingent on Miero finding good initiation. Right? It's either something like the Ags for Kiyotaka coming out, which isn't something he's queuing up anytime soon, or just a big War Stomp into a proper Doom onto a big core. Without any of those, then it's just going to be tough to take these engagements, unless the side of LGD is very scattered, like they are right now.
Could find New. Keep in mind, New does have the Blink BKB and Lotus Orb all available. Nothing to say, he's an even better target, but he's found Solo first. Solo just dropping, and now the Spear out onto Kiyotaka. Will be there, but they don't have the Focus Fire to follow up with. A very, very messy engagement by 9Pandas. They will at least... Oh, they almost lost another. I mean, to be fair, he had plenty of mana. He should have been just fine. Your tier 3 top tower going to be under siege now. LGD, they've got the meta back up. They'll move right in. Aegis is still up for 1.5 minutes, so there's no reason to stay back. And even Planet has a full sight device now, the Keeper. This is such a tough defense to ask for from 9Pandas. They have no buyback gold on Ramses either to make matters worse. Ramses is about 700 gold short at the moment. That's your top rack's gone, LGD. They'll walk right down to the middle T3 tower. No T2s to protect. Ramses, he's been Fiend's gripped. Global Suns will be out to cancel. They'll try to go after the Terrorblade, but a nice 4-star away. There's now nothing to say, maybe target it, but it's just so messy.
Oh.
They don't commit the Doom, and now the Shackle's landing. The 9Pandas, they look a little bit lost in this game 1 now. Ramses will back off. Shiro is going to run out of meta, so he does retreat to boot. It might be around that time to wait for the next Roshan, because you've only got 45 seconds of Aegis timing left. Unless you can get a good team fight. But either way, LGD, they are in full control of this game 1, and 9Pandas looking just a little bit lost here at this late stage of the game.
They are. It's just so difficult for them to start these fights. And you need Mirror to get a good Doom off. Either on the Wind Ranger, or probably better off on Shiro, just to stop him from doing anything with the Metamorphosis and Sunder. But then you worry about the backline saves. You have to have this angle for Kyotok to just instantly burst down someone like Planet, or even Y right now, being highly disruptive with Nightmares. It's not easy. And again, it just boils back to that overextension on the triangle. Kind of falls apart there. Shiro starts to really get his itemization online. That's the moment when he picks up the Scotty and starts to have a lot of stats to play with, in that your magical burst doesn't burst him fast enough.
Oh, Ramses! Ramses! He's been caught! He's been held down! The Fiend Grip is out! There's nothing to cancel this! They haven't got the global thumbs! He's gone! Ramses! He bought the MPV! He's got no buyback! It's GG! Antares, he just calls it GG and disconnect immediately. That has to hurt. This game 1. I mean, 9Pandas, they were in control for the first 20 minutes of the game. They had a Storm, Doom, Jug core lineup on it. It felt like they were just going to completely outscale LGD. Props to LGD for pulling off the comeback here in this game 1, but a couple deaths for Ramses. Very questionable, and well, the Jug just never ends up popping off.
It certainly doesn't. He runs into that Roche fight after they've lost the Aegis, when the rest of his team backs off. The side of LGD finding those opportunities in that triangle fight on their end of the river. And nothing to say, kind of setting up for a lot of these kills. Landing a lot of big shackles, getting the aggression on early, along with New. Like, these two did a ton of work. New especially in cutting off some of these retreats from 9Pandas. Just doing so much to salvage that really rough early game here. And just, and the Pandas, the overconfidence coming out to bite them. Like the Dagon build-up from Antares. Sure, it looked like it could have worked. It made sense if they were just going to constantly apply this pressure, but they lose a couple of fights. Suddenly the Dagon's not doing enough work. They're stuck at the Dagon level 1 for the Sky, and he's not able to gap close. He's not able to just burst someone down. The initiations fall flat for Pandas, and again, the shackles, the spears coming out from PSG.LGD, cutting off these retreats. It's heavily punishing. I think the Pandas, they had such a good early game, which is strange, because we've seen a lot of games where the Pandas have a really rough early game, sit back and farm, and then Ramses comes on top. When they have this really strong early game, it looks like they just get a little bit too overconfident and they overcommit. Like, Ramses dying after buying the MKB is one thing, but that Roche, man, right by the portal, why was he running in? I don't know.
He had spin TP and he had Swift Slash. He didn't have Healing Ward. He didn't have Omni. I'm not really sure what the idea was. Like, some people might argue, yeah, he could have spin TP'd out. It's like, yeah, but why would you run in and then do that? You're not gonna kill anyone with it. I guess maybe he thought I can pick off a kill and just spin TP away, but you probably would have still had the damage with Terrorblade. Like, he hits very hard by that point. Props as well to New. I want to say the offlane Mars just doing a lot of work for LGD. Like, we had some great shackles from Nothing to Say, but it did feel like when New started joining those team fights, that's when things started to really change. And at the early game as well, like, New found a solo Ramses kill, and then he kills off solo as well. Like, he just by himself, he's just killing off everyone at the top lane. Just incredible performance from him, and I do think the rotations that he made for his team was what made the comeback happen in the beginning for LGD. So big props to the Mars in the offlane, certainly the MVP of this game, I would argue. With that, though, we are going to head off to a short break, of course, and right after that break, we'll be back with Game 2 between PSG.LGD and, of course, 9Pandas. We'll see you soon.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
الحياة لحن، ولأننا جزء من مقطوعة عظيمة تحركنا، تلمسنا، تصنع من لحظاتنا ذكريات بديعة. لأن الوجبة، التجربة، المغامرة حياتك بعد جديد في هيلتون الرياض.
All new Honor Magic 5 Pro. Freeze even fleeting emotions in just milliseconds. Take marvelous night shots with lightning-fast exposure. The display reveals more details in bright areas with an astonishingly long battery life that just keeps going. The latest flagship chipset brings you exceptional performance. Unleash the power of magic. Honor Magic 5 Pro.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are back here for our second game between LGD and, of course, 9Pandas here for the Riyadh Masters 2023, and it is MLP Dota and Junks5. Jonathan, game one was a pretty interesting affair, I would argue, here between LGD and 9Pandas. 9Pandas having the lead for what felt like a solid 20-25 minutes. It almost felt like the game was somewhat unlosable for them. LGD, props to them making the comeback happen. But definitely some interesting engagements, to say the least, that really did cost 9Pandas that game quite heavily. Game two, is there anything in particular you'd like to see change it up? Maybe in terms of drafting, perhaps, that might change the outcome here for 9Pandas in game two?
I don't think the draft was really an issue. They had some good answers very early on. They played around their power spikes fairly well. Just the decision making, I think that it boiled down to. At some point, they didn't respect the counterfight potential of PSG.LGD all that much. No, nothing to say. Started to land some shackles. News started to really pop off in that Mars. Like getting those two solo kills up top, hammering in these spears every single time when they needed it. Like, sure, he missed a couple in Kiyotaka. That's a storm. He was landing them on every other target anyway, and managing to pin down the side of 9Pandas from getting anything done. I think the big issue in the last game for 9Pandas was, some of that decision making, and so honestly, it felt like Miero just didn't have the best impact on that Doom, right? He had a pretty stable lane, he managed to farm up, he got some decent Dooms early on, but as the game scaled on to the point where they relied on a lot of big Doom War Stomps and big Dooms coming out, it just didn't come true for Miero. Like, he'd hide in the trees, he'd be spotted first, he'd just instantly die without having to use Doom. You're down one big teamfight spell here for the side of 9Pandas, and the follow-up fight tends to fall apart. You're forced to use Global Silence defensively when your heroes aren't in position to jump in on the offense and try to capitalize on it, and it just crumbled down. So I think, I wouldn't say you want to change Miero's hero, as he does love the Doom, but it certainly didn't feel like it worked out at all in that last game.
I kind of agree with you. I don't think we've saw the absolute best performance. Speaking of not having the best performance either, again, LGD was struggling quite a lot in that first half. I mean, props to you for making all the work happen, but certainly, some timings were very questionable. Like, the fact that Why You Smile, after having that bad of a game, still ends up getting to the point where he has the Ags up. And you saw the impact too, right? Like, when I was questioning the Ags in particular, John, I wasn't saying the Ags was bad, right? I just thought maybe go for a Glimmer Cape first, or a 4-star for a Pavis, or something supportive first, because he died 5 times in the laning stage or something as the Bane. Like, it was a pretty rough ride. And there was that down period where he had a point booster and nothing was happening for this POS 5 Bane. But then suddenly a couple good team fights, he's got the full Ags up. And then once the full Ags is up, you can theoretically Fiend's Grip twice in a team fight, and we actually did see that in that strange turn of events where Ramses ended up running after that Roshan fight into the side of LGD and kind of feeding his life away. If I remember correctly, that was the second Fiend's Grip that came out, so he probably wasn't expecting that to be available. And it's kind of the thing, like, the fact that he got to that Ags timing on the position 5 Bane after such a start was not only impressive from LGD's end, but it does feel like 9Pandas shouldn't have even allowed that to happen.
Yeah, just shouldn't have happened. And again, there were a couple of things as well, right? Like Antara is going for the Dagon. Sure. Down the line, they had no utility under supports outside of the Pavise, right? Like, Solo was very, very poor on that silencer, only really had a Pavise to play with. And I think, just again, that the overconfidence they got from the laning phase kind of caused them all of those issues. Not respecting that counterfight, not respecting the scaling coming out from PSG.LGD, and eventually just one bad fight, one bad position just cost 9Pandas. Still, into this Game 2 draft we go. PSG.LGD starting off with the Timbersaw and Rubik. 9Pandas starting off with the Enigma, with the Problem Beast and Elder Titan bands for the Pandas. PSG.LGD taking care of the usual Broodmother and Undying. Not going to be a smooth game for the Enigma already. I mean, it can still have a pretty strong time in lane, but you have a really good solution here from the side of PSG.LGD. Timbersaw to clear out the Eidolons. Rubik to steal Black Hole. Not going to be too difficult up against an Enigma. I'm wondering where 9Pandas puts this Enigma as well. Are we seeing something like a Miero Enigma in this game? Or is Solo going to pick it up on the Pause 5? Those are basically the two positions they've run it. I don't think we've seen Antares play this one at all. So, at this point, with the Enigma being counteracted, it doesn't feel worthwhile to run as a core. You might as well just focus on, say, Malefice and Midnight Pulse more than anything else, and just help win a lane. We'll find out as the Doom still comes out, so this should just be our solo Enigma for sure.
Should be. We'll see. I think Miera just going back for the comfort is perfectly fine, especially considering you are up against a Timbersaw, which is arguably going to be the Nothing to Say hero. Could still be the new Timber as well, you never know. But the Doom generally does pretty well against heroes like this. Mind you, you've given a lot of value to this Rubik with this opening duo. Like, this Rubik has Black Hole, it has Doom to take. Already so much value. And, like, Black Hole and Doom both aren't the most difficult spells to steal. They're actually quite easy to steal, in fact. So, yeah, assuming that this Rubik plays patiently, which I'm sure the Planet will do, or even Why You Smile may do, it shouldn't be hard to at least get one of these spells.
Yeah. Gonna have a lot of impact just turning it around here in the middle. For the side of Pandas, again, you can't fault them for going back to the Miero Doom. You just have to see, I don't know if I'd say better positioning, just better jumps. It feels like he didn't really play that wrong. It's just PSG.LGD had his number. Constantly breaking up the smoke, catching the Doom first when he's standing up front, ensuring that the Doom never goes off. We can't see that kind of performance in this game. We've got to be able to see 9Pandas playing on the offensive with a blink up on the Doom once Miero has that up. And he has to really catch some big heroes. Maybe the Timbersaw is a good one. Honestly, dooming a Rubik in the late game is just also not too bad if we reach like 35 minutes in. The Ags build up feels like it's going to be important because the Timbersaw alone is already a pretty big target, and you still have potentially Nothing to Say's hero and Shiro's hero for sure to still come out. There is some flex for PSG.LGD as well in deciding their lanes here. They can run Nothing to Say on the Tim, but for the most part they do give that over to New on the off lane. We'll see. A surprise Timbersaw mid up against certain matchups can be pretty devastating for Kiyotaka if he's not too careful.
Be one more ban to come from either side before we can continue with these drafts. And Pandas. Maybe one more position 1 ban out to come here against LGD. Have a bit of a think about this one. You still here? Oh, I was about to say you still have the Bloodseeker that was removed. The Pango now being removed from 9Pandas end of things just in case. LGD. I mean, you've already got rid of the main Timbersaw counter in the Bloodseeker. See if they want to just focus on another position 1. If you are going to run the mid Nothing to Say Timbersaw, like the Snapfire being removed is usually your main issue's already gone in the Snapfire for the Timbers, so probably not too much more to be afraid about as the mid Timbersaw if that's what Nothing to Say is going to play.
Taking their time. I feel like PSG.LGD don't want to necessarily reveal the Timber mid all too early, and they prefer to run that on you for the most part, so maybe just trying to bait out the Pandas a little bit. And Pandas not really falling for it. I mean, the Pango ban is pretty big ban up against Nothing to Say. A lot of Spirit Brothers here still left in the pool, though. Storm's still available, which is the main Spirit Brother that's being contested. Ember can still kind of fit in if you feel like the need for clearing out more of the Eidolons, getting some split push going here. It's having something to follow through from your Timsaw jumping forward. PSG.LGD actually ban out the Tinker, and they bring out the Dawnbreaker on the side of PSG.LGD.
That's interesting.
Very interesting. I would say this is support. We've mainly seen support Dawnbreakers come out. I wouldn't be too surprised if Plan picked it up, but it's open enough that you could maybe arguably run it on Neo. Mind you, the Dawnbreaker, its damage values are just really, really awful right now. Like, its output is not the best in lane. It's not the most pressuring off-laner right now. So I'm very curious what LGD will want to do to that. Jug once more for Ramsey. I mean, I can't fault him. He loves his farm-heavy heroes, and Jug is one of them. It's just, hey, you have to fix your decision-making, you know? You can't run up like that, like we saw in Roche. You can't just dip out of your high ground to farm up a wave when you just freshly bought out the MKB either. Those kinds of mistakes, again, you can't repeat any of those mistakes. If you're 9Pandas right now, you just completely forget game one. Think of this as a game one, or maybe not, because I feel like every time we cast 9Pandas, game one never goes their way. And I'm not sure on the stat in that, but it starts to feel like that, Mike.
It certainly does feel like that. I think every game we've casted of 9Pandas, they've just lost. Which is, apologies to 9Pandas for that. 9Pandas, they're gonna go for a Witch Doctor pickup now. So, another hero I can't say I was quite expecting to pop up, but well, there you go. Not the worst hero to see. It does quite well against heroes like the Timber with the Maledict, and can still be a very annoying hero to play against. So what, is this a pos for Witch Doctor we're looking at? Like, is it pos for Enigma, pos for Witch Doctor?
You'd much prefer the Witch Doctor for sure to lane with the Doom, but again, considering how they play here, I think 9Pandas will stick to like the solo Enigma coming out. Jug plus Enigma in lane isn't too bad. You've got Malefice plus Spin. It can be aggressive early on. PSG.LGD into the Medusa is rather interesting. We've seen this hero still pop in and out. Still can work out. I think the matchup against Jug is still rather iffy, depending on farm timings. Like a Jug with Swift Slash and Omni Slash can still fully eat through a Medusa's early farm. The invulnerability state can be a massive problem as well, but if you can pin down the Jug, then it shouldn't be too bad here for the side of PSG.LGD. So I'm really curious to see what they do here with their lanes. Like, are we seeing something like a Medusa plus Dawnbreaker lane come out, a Rubik Timbersaw lane, and then something else for Nothing to Say on the mid? It doesn't sound too bad to run any of those, like Dawnbreaker plus a ranged core, kind of going back to just having a tanky melee pause 5 with a ranged pause 1, and that lane can still kind of work out for PSG.LGD if they want to run it that way. For the 9Pandas, fairly straightforward. There's a lot of aggression a Doom and Witch Doctor can provide. Early heal, Cask, and Maledict, and still tear apart the Medusa, so you have to respect that. Doom into Medusa lane as well. If you get the mana burn creep, you're going to be laughing your way to the bank here on Miero if he manages to get that kind of creep for himself in lane. You have some ways of covering yourself here. LGD banning out the Darkseer is rather surprising, as I don't know how exactly they're expecting the side of 9Pandas to flux a Doom here. 9Pandas, for their part, just taking care of the Lycan and the Ember. Again, unsure as to whether or not New or Nothing to Say will play the Timbersaw mid, so covering two heroes that would be rather annoying. They will have to show their hand first on 9Pandas, as LGD does have a last pick overall.
Excuse me, final pickup to come from 9Pandas. 10 seconds reserve time left. They don't have much time to think about this one.
PSG.LGD.
Oh, we'll go down the Void Spirit route, so that's a mid hero coming out here from 9Pandas. So it should be an off-lane Doom and a safe lane Jug as we were expecting. LGD, on the other hand, how do they want to respond? Do they want to just run the mid Timber? I mean, I guess you kind of are with the Dawnbreaker being picked up, but it could still be a support Dawnbreaker, so you never know. It's all up in the air right now for LGD. They still have a lot of flexibility. But I must say, John, I think the Dawnbreaker as well does have that added value of stopping the black hole with your ulti. So, you know, you've got that. It might make the black hole very challenging to actually pull off and make kind of impactful this game. Could just be a support Dawnbreaker, just for the sake of having that the ulti available.
I think it's safer in support. I'd expect the Timbersaw off, but with the Void Spirit pickup, you kind of want to run Timbersaw versus Void Spirit. That lane does feel really good for a Timbersaw. Really easy to harass out. Yutaka from having a good game here. Just get something else for you on the off lane. Up against a Jug. What options do you have left? Maybe something like the Beastmaster can still work out here for you if you want something like that. You still have... I believe you still have the Mars unless I can't see too properly, so that could be one way. Instead, they'll go with a Storm, so they'll just run the Timber off instead. Storm versus Void Spirit matchup, still rather straightforward. And again, we will have Y on the Dawnbreaker 5. So, Dawnbreaker Dusa lane, as I mentioned, it's a melee support plus a range core. It's not too bad. You can be aggressive, although getting aggressive on top of... Oh, they're running Antares Doom. It's a Mirror Enigma.
Okay.
I was expecting Soul to play it. Wow. It works out. It's just, again, it's not the easiest Enigma game. As a core Enigma, I suppose you could always go for the Aura build-up rather than emphasizing your Black Hole. So you still have a lot of utility coming out for your team and sustain. Maybe a fast Guardian Greaves. A Solar Crest is what we see as well. Can start to help the cause in finding these pickoffs, but I would say, just looking at the draft, I'd say PSG.LGD has a much more straightforward draft. I think 9Pandas does have this potential to run down very early on in laning phase. And they do have some decent scaling coming out. You know, it's Jug versus Dusa. We've seen Ramses shine on the Jug versus Dusa matchup in particular before. And again, the laning of 9Pandas is pretty strong, but I don't know, like, this draft from PSG.LGD just looks very comfort for them. It's nothing too strange. You on a Timbersaw, nothing to say on that Midstorm. Like, it's all very straightforward. The lane matchups aren't too bad for PSG.LGD, despite 9Pandas having a lot of aggressive potential. So as long as they don't lose out too much in the lanes, I can see PSG.LGD just hanging on and hitting their spikes here.
Let's see how it does pan out. Game number 2 here between 9Pandas and LGD, set to get underway. Should be a very interesting one. Of course, 9Pandas backs against the wall now, looking for a draw at the very least.
Looking good.
Or at the best, I should say. LGD looking for a 2-0 victory at best.
This pleases me to no end.
A 2-0 here for LGD catapults them above 9Pandas' position, I believe, and 9Pandas is in danger of being relegated out of the group stage, out of the playoffs here, with a 2-0 loss. So, it's a lot in the line. Again, we're in the penultimate day of groups. You only have so many matches left to play in the next day. So, every win counts. That one loss for 9Pandas hurting them quite hard, and that boosts PSG.LGD by a huge margin in terms of trying to stay in contention here. So, we'll see. Shout out to Bengen, says Solo.
Bengen. Okay. Shout out to, oh, I have no idea who that is, but shout out to him. Or her. You don't mind the Dawnbreaker as well against this offlane Enigma, I must say, John. Like, Dawn support, arguably one of the better heroes against a core like Enigma. Like, Celestial Hammer and Starbreaker makes it impossible for you to hold on to those Eidolons. As well, laning stage as well with the Medusa is going to be kind of tough with all the poking and prodding that can happen between the Medusa and the Dawnbreaker, as they are going to move in solo. We'll be just fine to walk away. Into the laning stage, see exactly how all of it pans out. As of course, bot lane, Shiro up against Untitled and Miro once again. The Doom vs Enigma laning stage from 9Pandas. I do feel like the Dawnbreaker, even though the numbers, the values of these spells aren't great, I think you should have a pretty damn good time on this Dawn, Pos 5.
It should be alright. Again, you've got some damage to back you up here with the Dusa. If you manage to get a couple of good Mystic Sneaks out, you can harass pretty well. My concern is jumping forward. These two targets aren't that soft for you to really fully kill threat on. They've got a lot of control as well. Like Malefice just pins down the Dawnbreaker pretty damn bad. The Celestial Hammer and Starbreaker. And just a casual Infernal Blade out from Antares will do a lot in trades up against Y. Overall, though, again, you tend to still go for that early Eidolons, and you do clear it out. Up top, Ramses does manage to find Neo.
He certainly does. Meanwhile, mid lane, Yutaka's gone. Level 2, nothing to say, takes him out. John, that's without the Vortex. That was just Overload and Static Remnant taking him down. What?
Yeah, it's a little bit funky. At least you don't get the First Blood bonus coming out here for nothing to say. And I suppose overall that's a reset for Kiyotaka. We have seen this lane matchup before, and it does tend to favor Storm. You know, you don't care too much about the Void right clicking you down. He has to gap close. When he gap close, you have the static remnant. You've got the vortex to bail you out. You've got the magic damage to just burn through that resonant pulse early on as well. So nothing to say should feel pretty stable. Look at him just stand. He's just standing there and right clicking, and Kiyotaka can't do anything.
I like it. Just man up. Come at me. Kiyotaka, we'll see how he does try to deal with this as time goes on. It looks like already a bit of a tough time here against Nothing to Say, who's just not backing off. It's constant aggression. Kiyotaka obviously going to be a little bit behind in XP as well. Off the back of that death.
Has been killed.
And to say surely hits level 6 before Kiyotaka with the way things are going. Should mean a bit of an opening later on against this Void Spirit, assuming maybe a support rotation. In now, but they will be okay. Well, bottom, why are you smiling? Untitled's going at it. Even the support Doom, like, you're just not going to have a good time against the Dawnbreaker 5. Just the spells you can throw out early, the Celestial Hammer and Starbreaker, can add up, and you're seeing why you smile. Jumping right into the Eidolons down a bottom lane, clearing all of them out. Miero, he just spawned them up to boot. They just get deleted instantaneously by why you smile.
I'm surprised again that they decide to go for this core Enigma. It feels like if you ran core Doom, support Enigma with emphasis on some like Malefice instead of just looking for higher uptime and demand conversion, you'd have a much more playable lane. Instead, you're getting a lot of protection out for Shiro to just get the freest farm of his life, and not too much impact coming out from Antares. He's just basically jungling, you know, getting the Devour off, playing with a Scorched Earth in the small camp, contesting pulse, I suppose, but beyond that, not really able to do as much to ensure that the Enigma is not suffering as hard. So, strong laning starts coming out for PSG.LGD, and that first blood up top certainly did hurt just a bit, but New's hitting the point where he's not going to care. Level 3 up on Timbersaw means you go for your 1-1-1, you're fairly safe, you've got some aggression with a Rubik, with a lift back. Solo already hitting that 1-1-1 early does, again, provide a kill threat for 9Pandas up top. But for the most part, Ramses, if he can farm, he'll just sit back and just do that. Doesn't care too much.
Mid lane, to say, getting very low on the Storm now, will be alright. But there is a big group up in supports for these 4-minute water room. Bit of a chase here from Solo onto Planet. Planet's going to be just fine. Kiyotaka can't really back him up. Oh, no, still going, in fact. Very aggressive play from the Witch Doctor. With the Melodic now. A bit more of a chase, but Planet will be okay. While you smile, looks like he's going to take over the mid lane, as to say, forced to run back towards the fountain. We have a decent amount of time for Kiyotaka to catch up in the XP department. Like, he's still behind the Storm. This might be just enough time to even out and try to hit level 6 at roughly the same time.
Much needed room here for the side of 9Pandas. Nothing to say. At the very least, doesn't die, manages to head back into lane, has a level 3 overload for those trades once more. And that movement does clear up the side lanes a bit, but just ends up being more farm. This again does feel a little bit better for the side of PSG.LGD in that you've got the Dusa. You do want to take your time to build up here. You are getting a lot more out of your lane right now on the Dusa in comparison to Ramses on his jug. So Ramses is #1 in that word, and off the top of that kill earlier on, is still feeling pretty great on jug. As long as he doesn't get somehow solo picked off by New, then you're pretty happy.
Ace onto Shiro, but Miero now is the one being targeted by YU Smile. The Y is getting very, very low and should go down eventually to the melodic damage, but in comes Planet with the telekinesis onto the high ground for Antares, but he'll just TP away. Meanwhile, mid lane, Kiyotaka is one hit away from dying, but will survive on 30 HP and walk his way out. Nothing to say, trying to get aggressive prior to that level 6. Can't quite claim the kill, but now he is level 6. Once the TP comes back in, Kiyotaka, if he's not careful, he could just automatically die. And speaking of dying, Ramses again getting soloed by New.
Oh, I just said it. As long as he doesn't randomly die to New, you're fine. He's taken
Yeah,
out.
he
He
jump.
didn't have his spin. It happens again. It's... I mean, it is
God.
Jog versus Timbo.
Double damage on Nothing to Say now mid. Kiyotaka, he just TP'd in to try and get that farm going. But he's only level 5. They could just die both of them now. Solo will go. Kiyotaka is safe, there's nothing to say, is out of mana. Antara is going to try and rush forward with the blood grenade and try to snipe the storm kill. We actually get this. Nothing to say, dropping very low, but seems like Antara is just playing very safely, will back off. So as long as Kiyotaka survives that onslaught, you're going to be okay. They will just only get away with the Witch Doctor kill. I think the bigger loss is definitely that top lane where Ramsey's just died solo than you again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the number saw without Chakram. It's all just the chains and the whirling death, and that gets the job done for you. Have to be really cautious with when you pop that spin.
Back home.
Oh
Yeah, he still got the Wisdom Rune. Miro was trying to stop him from getting the Wisdom, and why you smile? Oh my. Had he got denied off, I would have just felt terrible for 9Pandas, but they do get the kill.
At least they find it. And it's probably one of the only black holes can get in you. Ooh. If he dragged Ramses back in that chain, that actually would have been a kill on this jug. Ramses should be happy didn't bounce along there, but yeah, it's a little bit awkward right now. It's not all doom and gloom for 9Pandas for sure. They've got the slight network lead, but feels like PSG.LGD, they're the ones dictating this game with a smoke out now.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Ramses, I mean, he doesn't have the Omni. Solo doesn't want to get caught instead, though, as they do see it. Underneath that Observer Ward, Solo is going to get picked off. Nothing to say, will take his second kill of the game now on the Storm. Yotaka, of course, unable to help at the moment on the Void Spirit. Does at least get himself an Arcane Rune, but that's about it. Does have to sit back and continue trying to secure some farm, as he's still yet to pick up his brown boots. Kind of how badly the mid lane went for the Void Spirit. I suppose Nothing to Say needs the exact same thing, but he's playing Storm, so it's a little bit different. Rotations again from LGD. They'll run through the river up towards the top lane. Ramses has already left the building. Ramses just farming the topside jungle. Bottom lane in the meantime, Shiro was getting jumped, but he's going to be just fine to clear out all the Eidolons, and he is out of mana, but they are not going to have the spells to throw at him. Back to top lane, Solo is hanging around to do something about this tier 1 top tower, but realizes he can't really show his face. So that tier 1 is gone.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Can't really do too much. Can't look for a solo pick-off right now without the ult. Just forced to try to soak some EXP, maybe spot some movement out. They will spot that gate usage here from Y. Have some good wards, at least watch that area, but not going to be able to do much with the info. So this is back to the 9Pandas playstyle that we know coming out from laning phase. They lose out in lanes, they sit back and farm. As long as Ramses doesn't die in the next few minutes, you're happy. Don't die, Ramses.
You said it, John. Like if it happens now, it's on you! Ramses, be careful! Goodness me. Bottom lane, they might be looking to set up onto this Enigma soon. Miero is standing back, realizing that Why You Smile might be around this area.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Torres is around the corner on the Doom, but he is still level 4, so not really in a position where he can help defend his Enigma if he does get jumped. Meanwhile, mid, a bit of a fight over the power runes, but a nice Aether Remnant from Kiyotaka locking him down on the Storm. The shield rune is going to be picked up by Untitled, but Kiyotaka, he's being focused here by the side of LGD. Problem is they are out of mana for the Storm, so they're not going to be able to continue the chase onto Kiyotaka.
Dire's middle tower.
Actually, the power rune anyway, just going to Untitled. The thing is, now New has shown up into the mid lane, and with the siege creeping coming, this mid tier 1 tower is not going to survive. I don't think 9Pandas can actually defend this.
Under attack.
No. And they've got the black hole ready from Yarrow, but nothing to really help him initiate in. And again, it's not an easy game. You just go for these black hole plays. And have to surrender these objectives out. You are getting space for your rather greedy draft when you've got support room, you've got offlane Enigma with Chug and a mid Void Spirit. Someone's got to get thrown to the wolves right now. That is Kiyotaka. He is still trying to work into the Echo Saber. The timing just feeling a little bit off right now for the Void Spirit. Bottom network core, but not too far behind. Nothing to say at the very least. And you're starting to get some breathing room out for Ramses. So the Chug is still working into the battle fury. The issue is you're not going to be out farming Adusa anytime soon. Shiro's just always going to be on top. He'll hit Manta, he'll go for something like the Butterfly, and that'll force maybe an earlier MKB from Ramses than he'd like. as durability will be there for the Dusa. I know, like 9Pandas just can't do too much. They need to sit back and farm. Maybe when you have level 6 on Antares, it starts to get a little bit easier. Level 6 as well in solo. These supports are heavily starved in comparison to what PSG.LGD is able to get away with.
Absolutely. It certainly has not been the easiest of times here for 9Pandas. Here we go. Nothing to say, showing up down a bottom lane with the smoke. Does have Planet right behind him. Miero is obviously the main target they're looking for, and they might run right towards him too, because Miero is going south. The chase is still on from LGD. They know he's around here somewhere. Planet eventually going to spot him, and this should be a pretty simple kill, unless we can see a black hole, but I don't think there's much of a point. Miero already down. You Smile out with the Solar Guardian, just to ensure they've got the damage. It's kind of tough, like with the strong start that Nothing to Say has had. It's pretty difficult to slow LGD down for the moment.
And it is. All you have to do is sacrifice a core, use the space elsewhere, farm up, cut your losses, and try to build up. Considering what PSG.LGD's managed to do on the map, being 1k behind isn't the worst thing in the world. And you're expecting the Medusa to farm up a lot faster, but Ramses is keeping up pace, has the Battle Fury up, they're sharing map space quite nicely with Antares as well. I have to say one thing, Wise going for the Ags Rush once more, which on the Dawnbreaker support does make sense, but it's funny that he's doing that 2 games in a row.
Here we go, dump in, while you Smile. Getting Hurricane back, still has the Celestial Hammer to throw out, but looks like he's just as good as dead. Little pick up there from 9Pandas. Yeah, Taka still rushing forward, just gonna try and steal the farm away. Does throw an Aether Remnant out on it to Nothing to Say, but will not land it. Going back to the Ags build up on the Dawnbreaker, I think he switched it up, right? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
It does feel like a pretty good Ags game for the Dawnbreaker this game.
It would have been. It would have felt better than the initial Ags Rush Bane. But he's going for the utility. Medallion into Solar Crest. A little bit more to buff up the team in the middle of these fights. Ags can always come later. It's not necessarily a high priority pickup. A little bit of a smoke out from 9Pandas. Looking for new up top. Musaw relatively tanky though. Has the Vanguard up. But if they commit all their spells, they could just find his kill.
Good new. He's the big boy. He'll go for a TP play out. Aether Remnant, it's off the mark. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. I don't blame Kiyotaka for that one. He did guess the right position. But a bit of foresight, knowing that they would try that. He just stays in that same position right north. And it works.
He makes so much space. 3-man rotation up top. More space out for Shira to just keep free farming. Already has the Manta up on the Dusa, going for the Butterfly Rush into the Scotty. You're getting some space out for Nothing to Say to just finish up his Orchid as well. And now they're going to go for the smoke. 4-man smoke out. They've got 8 Relents up on Planet.
I got kind of confused for a moment, John. I thought it was the Eidolon that they smoked under, but it was actually the Rubik Eidolons. Never mind. Miero. He can Black Hole. He's going to try for the 3-man, but now Planet's got it. Planet's got the Black Hole. Oh boy. Oh, Antares, he's not going to be able to get the Doom off in time. Solar Guardian flying in to try and help out. He's going to get cancelled. At least Planet, he will go down. Kiyotaka able to clean up a double, but now the turn back around, just getting shredded by New. A double kill for the Timber. Solo's not going to make it out, I don't think, here, John. He is just as good as dead, but in comes Ramses. Maybe able to trade something with the Omni, but he shouldn't have enough damage. New's just tempting him. He's just going, come on. Omni me. Not gonna happen.
No, not the target you can Omni down right now for Ramses. Looked like a decent comeback, or at least a decent pick-off back from the side of the Pandas, but they lose 4 heroes for 2. And just going for... It's not an easy Enigma game for the Black Bolts for Miero. He sees the opportunity to get multiple, but you don't catch the Rubik, you're in for a rough ride. He's always got control, heck, even down the line if you catch the Dusa. If Shiro manages to get Stone Gaze off, then you're still in for a rough time for Miero. There's just no easy answers for the Enigma to have a good time here.
They got the Orchid on Nothing to Say. Oh, he's gone. Ramses, he's going to try and survive, but not for long. Nothing to Say, he literally just picked that up. They were running towards the Jug as the courier was incoming. His new bottom lane at least might go down. And he will. He won't even try to chain away from that situation.
Only what you are.
Find a little bit of a trade. Much better trade for PSG.LGD. Slowing down that win condition on 9Pandas. And without the Manta coming out here for Ramses, it's going to be relatively easy for the side of PSG.LGD to just keep getting that control out. Again, for the 9Pandas right now, your draft just necessitates a lot of farm. You have to just play passive. Cut your losses. Use the space. They might have to cut their losses up top here if you're not careful on Antares.
Actually, don't scout him out. They barely miss out on seeing the Doom in that scenario.
Now they see him with a ward.
They will now. Basically a free kill if they want to make the jump in. LGD trying to pretend like nothing's happening yet. Now they'll reveal that they've got the ward on the high ground, so Antares will know that they can see him. Or does he? Jump is there. Nothing to say. Still jumping in. Antares will survive for now with the Glimmer Cape usage. Just hurricanes out of there. Double hurricane in fact. Jiro, why you smile? They're going. Why you smile? May just go down, is still fighting before he is inevitably dead. Meanwhile, though, Kiyotaka is the much bigger target. And now even Solo, like, still trying to TP out the planet. No, he's not going to have the vision.
Radiant are scared.
Would not go for the lift up. But it won't matter. You trade your pos 5 for a mid laner. You're still extremely happy as LGD.
It's just a room where Shiro manages to get some activity out as well. Pops the Stone Gaze, gets the cancellation on that full Death Ward coming out from Solo. Soaks up some EXP, soaks up some farm. Butterfly not too far out for Shiro. At this point, 11 to 8. 9Pandas. I don't see an easy solution here for any of their heroes, like in terms of item pickups. Probably the biggest impact is maybe a blink on Antares. Blink BKB from Yarrow as well. In the right circumstances, could be enough. If they manage to split up PSG.LGD and force out some earlier steals from Planet, could be one way to get things done here. But again, it's very execution heavy for 9Pandas, whereas for the side of PSG.LGD right now, it's all about just running up, finding some kills when you see it happen, trusting your Dusa to carry through. There's that full butterfly out for Shiro now as well. So he hits like a truck. He has a lot of durability with missed chances. And 9Pandas, and they just trying to farm up some answers. Get some blinks going. Get some BKBs, some mantas up to deal with the Orchid. And hope that PSG.LGD provided with an opening. Still, Roche being taken by PSG.LGD off the back of that butterfly. Not going to take too long.
Certainly will not. Roshan running the way of the LGD for free, it seems. 9Pandas just no way of trying to fight this. They do take the time to at least find a blink out on Antares, so you do have some nice blink initiations from the Doom now available, but I'm gonna say the same thing about Planet, who also has a blink coming out on the Rubik. 9Pandas. Now with an Aegis behind, you are starting to farm the Diffusal on Ramsey, so he will soon enough have the answer towards Medusa. But with the Butterfly already up, I can't even say that's going to be enough. Like, Ramsey's going to have to farm real deep into the late game at this stage as Antares gets a Doom off on to the Storm. This will be a big one. Nothing to say. Left behind will go down. That's the blink reveal from Antares.
It's the big one they needed.
Ramses?
Find an isolate wound.
Ramses, do not die. You cannot die right now, sir. He's going to spin TP. He should be just fine. Unless Planet gets a lift off in time, but no, the spin lasts too long.
Dire's bottom tower
Just a bit too long. Ramsey's playing on the edge, but does bail out. Big kill earlier on from Nothing to Say. Blink reveal paying off. And this is exactly what 9Pandas need to do. When they see the split up from PSG.LGD, punish them one by one. Get these kills. Try to stall the game further. Your Jug can still deal with a Dusa. It's just a matter of a lot of items that need to come out here for Ramses. Shiro, more than confident right now, has a little bit more stats with the Ultimate Orb. Still has the Aegis for 3.5 minutes. Just going to be able to solo siege. No clear response for 9Pandas outside of just looking for more kills while they're split apart.
There was a bit of a chase on Why Small, but it seems like he's going to be able to just kind of get away from them. He does have to give up that Wisdom Rune on the Radiant side, but not the biggest of deals here for the LGD. They'll still find one on the Dire end of things, and they'll even find a Tormentor if they want it. LGD. Shiro saying, let's go high ground. You still got 3 minutes on the Aegis. They've got a Siege Creep standing there as well. That certainly helps their cause. This will be forced immediately out from 9Pandas, but LGD, they might just keep going. They know they're the stronger team. Antares, what was that blink?
Oh
What was that? He had a Hurricane, but that's all he had. He didn't have Doom, he didn't have a stun.
Is under attack.
Maybe he was trying to drag Shiro back for a moment. I'm not sure.
no. Perhaps try to isolate Medusa, get an Omni, force the Aegis out. Even then, that's just Aegis. They hold on to the high ground off the back of that at least. Next creep wave doesn't take too long to come in.
There they go. Lance out and Ramsey's forcing out the Manta already. Ramsey's will commit the spin, trying to go into Shiro. Does drain all his mana. Shiro should die to the Melodic, but no, the mana is there in time. They've even stolen the healing ward. The planet will give the reset off to Shiro. The thing is, though, Shiro needs mana. He doesn't need HP. So it seems like ODD, they'll play it safe. They've still got 2 minutes on the Aegis. They'll just back off and get some farm going and maybe reset and come back a little bit later.
Yeah, no rush for the high ground here. Still 2 tier 2 towers left to take away from 9Pandas. 9Pandas, again, they've stalled out pretty alright. All things considered, yeah, it looks a little bit funny when Towers dies, but tier 3 still stands down bot. So, you still have that objective to play for. Ramsey's almost at the defusal. So we'll have a way of melting through some mana, although again, Butterfly Evasion is still going to be highly annoying for the Jug to kind of contend with here. But some solutions are starting to present themselves. Even Miero, you know, he's got the blink up on the Enigma. He managed to catch the Rubik in the black hole, and if he managed to somehow cancel off the Solar Guardian from Y, you're going to have a lot of play for the black hole to just kind of help you isolate these heroes and start to clean up shop. Only a 1k lead standing for PSG.LGD, all things considered. A lot of that gold is just going out to Medusa. So everyone else kind of sacrificed.
They've gotten you with the Doom. Antares will keep the chase and the vision up. But nobody else from 9Pandas was there. They were all TPing. Now, sit back in, nothing to say. He'll just take a free kill on the Doom if they want it. Nothing to say, getting a little bit low on mana though. Needs to get out, will do so. Ramses, he's been kind of this whole time. He'll go after YU Smile and set into the Omni Slash now into the black hole. It's gonna hold down 3 of them. Miero makes it in time. But can they do it with the Medusa a second time? Shiro, he's taking the full Death Ward damage. Does put the Mandarin down, the stolen black hole planet. He's got Ramses. Ramses is gone. What a steal from Planet. They'll take down Solo. Oh, it was such a nice fight with 9Pandas off that black hole. But Planet just keeps taking it away.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And you can see, PSG.LGD don't even need to catch multiple heroes with a stolen black hole. Just the one, just Ramses. Or even Kiyotaka if he was caught out. Like, these are the 2 that you really need to pin down. They managed to take care of Aegis, but sure, more than healthy to just keep going with his push. Has the Scotty flying out now as well.
That was so close. He almost lost that.
Dire's structures are
Like a split second away from that courier dying at the tier 3 tower damage.
are under attack.
Yep. He calculated usage for you. Again, can't go for the tier 3s, but no team fight spots here.
That's a big one. Got nothing to say. That's a great kind of punish. LGD can't really stick around, I don't think. Shiro trying to run. Manta is there to avoid the cask, still running, but they do lock him down. He's out of mana. Shiro forced the fight, but 9Pandas will successfully take him down. The 2 huge calls going down for 9Pandas into things, and an immediate tip from Solo onto Shiro. They love tipping this guy for some reason.
What they do. Anytime something just, you know, doesn't end up Shiro's way, instant tip out. They do focus a lot of their energy onto him, and again, all things can, if you considered map state, all of that farm is on Shiro. And you've sacrificed nothing to say, it's scaling up, sacrificed new as well in this game. Just ensure your Deuces built up the big hyper carry to carry you through here.
This will be a dieback if they can get new. They lock him down. Solar Guardian, though, going to keep him alive just a little bit longer. New, no, Chain's not going to make it. He's still surviving, though. New, he's not going to die yet. Eventually, he will go down. Kiyotaka, he'll just keep rushing. In fact, they found the Doom on nothing to say. Oh, boy. 9Pandas, they may have really just turned this game on its head. As it seems like another kind of team wipe here.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Bottom tier 2 tower going to be under siege by Ramses. They're going to find some objective out of this. Suddenly LGD not looking like the stronger team.
just kind of falters. They overstay their welcome on the high ground. They get picked off one by one. And again, when 9Pandas finds you split apart, that's their opening. They can just get an easy chase down. They've got the damage. They've got the control when you're split apart. PSG.LGD has to keep playing as a team. They start to lose out in these wildly split apart fights. And the Pandas, and they've managed to hold on to this game really well. On the lead now, 8k up. Only the Dusa ahead of anyone else from the Dari end here. But Nothing to Say and you just being sacrificed extremely hard. Nothing defensive coming out from Nothing to Say. So if Antares finds that Doom, then it's your Storm's just not going to do anything. Your Deuce is still manageable. And you've got the mana burn coming through. You've got a lot of output, a lot of enough magic damage to kind of take care of the Deuce here as well. Like, Mira's just been focusing down on burning through Shiro's shield. Even if Black Hole's stolen, as long as Shiro's mana's gone with the Black Hole and Midnight Pulse, you're pretty happy with that result on Miero here. And he's understanding his role really well. For PSG.LGD, it does feel like at least a defensive item up on Nothing to Say. Like, help him up against this Doom. Either the BKB to help him with a Remnant, or the Lincolns to help him with the Doom. Either one. Kind of allowed his Storm to keep playing as far forward as it has been. After this Hex, of course, for Nothing to Say. Just wants that additional control on the jumps. But now it's not a straightforward game for 9Pandas. For the side of PSG.LGD. Right? Like, it's still all in on this Dusa, but your items have just fallen a little bit short on you and on Nothing to Say, and 9Pandas are starting to punish you when you're starting to work the map. You have to, again, watch your spacing, watch your position, stick together as much as possible, and just try to play for the objectives. Still nothing found in the high ground outside of that tier 3.
Looking for Roshan, perhaps. 9Pandas heading that way. Roshan officially going to be started by 9Pandas. Ramsey's now with the full axe up, so has the Swift Slash again. OGD, they are slowly making their way up to that area. Roshan at half HP. OGD still very, very slow to get there. May not realize it has begun. Now 1/3 of his HP is left. And Roshan looks to go freely to the side of 9Pandas as Solo is just tailing them almost. He chips Shiro again. Shiro gonna get jumped as well. They found the Medusa with his. Doom is out. They've called the Medusa, but do they have the damage? It doesn't seem like it. Ramses, he's the one in trouble. He got doomed to boot. They might just lose the Juggernaut. Now the Black Hole. Miero will try to save the day. Miero trying his absolute best to take Shiro down. They've got the Medusa. LGD falling like flies as they'll lose New to boot. 3 gone for the Radiant. Nothing to Say, desperately trying to run out of there. Still being chased, scanned out. Antares don't may die for this. Nothing to Say, how much work can he do? He doesn't kill off the Doom. We're trying to zip out instead, but the chase is on. Antares somehow survives. And Nothing to Say. He can't do nothing, not without the mana. He just has to stand there and man up.
There is nothing.
Tries to play greedy. Just try to bait someone in. Look for a way to even out the fight. 9Pandas, a little bit dicey to start things off. The Doom out onto the Dusa, just not enough to really stop that. It felt like Nothing to Say could maybe find a little bit more, but the BKB being available for Miero, just having that to protect from the Solar Guardian was massive. You didn't see any way of stopping it. No stolen Black Hole this time around from Planet to help things turn around. And things go south very fast for the side of PSG.LGD. Again, a very split apart entry into that fight. And 9Pandas, that's exactly what they need. If they can draw you in one by one, they will find a way to clean you up. The Ags up on Kiyotaka again without anything defensive here. For Nothing to Say just means a silence alone from the Void Spirits more than enough to hold you down. Nothing defensive either coming out from Shiro. To be fair, it is a Dusa. We don't tend to see too many defensive items up, but it's starting to feel necessary. At least the Lincoln's up to stop a Doom onto one of these pivotal targets, but no room for that one.
Got the Nullifier up now. Going after Why You Smile. That'll be the Dawnbreaker immediately being burned down as now they look towards New on the Timber. New not seeming that tanky at the moment. Nothing to Say. He will rotate in, zipping onto the Witch Doctor. New is still dropping very low though. Kiyotaka is not done with him. They want the Timber real damn bad. Chase is on. New. Oh, not able to get the chains away. Gets jumped again by Kiyotaka, who does finish the job off. Like, he's going for more now. This Void Spirit just losing his damn mind for a moment, going right into the tier 3 tower. Will eventually back his way out. Huge kills for 9Pandas now as they've got a 15k advantage. And all the weight of the world is on Shiro's shoulders at this point.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
It's all about positioning here for him.
Middle tower is under attack.
Has to not get caught out by the Doom, maintain a forward enough position to have some impact on the Stone Gaze and get his damage off. But it's not simple. He's
And it's just deleted. Yotaka gonna lose the Aegis for now, but the jump is in. The Stone Gaze was popped. They may not care for it, though. Nothing to say. Trying to go after the Void Spirit. Take down Kiyotaka. He's a big problem, but he still gets away just in the nick of time as Ramses. He just shoots a Swift Slash. There's your Omni out. He'll kill off YU Smile, who has no buyback available. Sure, you drop the Omni, but now it's a 2v5 scenario, about to be 3v5. Yu does respawn.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
They smoke up in preparation for this next fight. 9Pandas looking to put an end to this game.
Radiant's top barracks
Shiro,
has fallen.
very hard to fight now without the Stone Gaze up. Kiyotaka just looked and jump in. No fear in the world as this Void Spirit. Nothing to say, he's just getting bursted and he's gone. A Black Hole in celebration, catching nothing. Shiro down, tipped again by Ramses. And that should be about it. Without the Medusa up, surely no way to defend this. Kiyotaka again will jump in. Onto the Timber, New is gone. He has buyback, but it seems like they won't pop it as GG is called. LGD have seen enough for this game too. That'll be a 1-1 draw between these two teams. Props to 9Pandas, because this game looked like it was a big lead for LGD to get things started, but 9Pandas make the comeback.
That they do. We see what happens in most of their games. You know, they lose out in laning stage a little bit. We see Ramses kind of get picked off again by New. But they hold on. They manage to find these mistakes that PSG.LGD make, overstaying their push on the high ground, not even finding the racks, just finding the tier 3, getting the turnaround from there. And then PSG.LGD starts splitting up for farm. They're a little bit slow for the response into Roshan. And again, when you stream in 1-by-1 up against this lineup of the side of 9Pandas, they still find their openings. Sure, it was a pretty challenging game for Miero, but he knew that you're not going to use Black Hole to cancel here. You're just giving away Black Hole, so you've always got the opportunity to at least burst down Shiro. And if you can burst down Shiro, you find your openings. A lot of back and forth play still. This LGD, you know, we had some good steals from Planet. We had some great Solar Guardians coming out from Y, and a lot of zips across from Nothing to Say. It's just, again, one mistake too many here for the side of PSG.LGD.
Still a fantastic performance from 9Pandas, at least for this game too. And what we did say earlier, like the one thing you didn't really want for either side is a draw, because they have been stuck in the bottom 3 for 9Pandas and LGD. Essentially, you might move up a little bit just based off having an extra game under your belt, but it doesn't really help your standing too much for either side, sadly. So, you know, while it was a nice series to watch, at the end, the scorelines do remain very, very similar to what they once were. You are seeing the final highlights. This one big team fight, just absolute chaos from 9Pandas and LGD, but ultimately in the end proving to be a much better fight for 9Pandas. And I mean, props to Kiyotaka, John, at the end of the game, just completely going nuts on this Void Spirit. Semi-realizing he's just seems seemingly invincible. Like, he got this nullifier up and he just said, screw it, I'm just going to dive into their base constantly. And that he does, and it felt like he never got punished for it.
Just never did. Your control was not the smoothest coming out from PSG.LGD. He really and Nothing to Say to zip an Orchid, get the Vortex, follow up, hope that you're around with left back and your Rubik down the line, that you can hammer in Celestial or the Starbreaker down the line as well from Y, but it just needed such tight coordination for these late game fights to find that hard hold in Kiyotaka. Whereas for 9Pandas, again, they had Black Hole. Again, not the easiest time for Mira, but he gets the work done. You've got the Blink Boom for Antares. And then the Ags build up here from Kiyotaka just did all the work with the Nullifier. Nothing defensive coming out from PSG.LGD at all. We didn't see any BKBs come true. We didn't see any Lincolns. We didn't see anything to counteract that single target control. And the side of 9Pandas get to dance around that. Again, it felt like game 1 was a little bit greedy from 9Pandas with their draft, with how they itemized in their supports, with that Dagon from Antares. This time, PSG.LGD feeling so strong that they felt like they could go all offense without any defense. Then once you're caught out, you're
Absolutely. It's still a fantastic performance, at least from 9Pandas, to finish this one off. And with that, we do get to move on to our next series as well, right? We've got BBT up against your boys. The Talon boys are coming up, so see if we've got any base words from John X5 to say after that next series coming up between them and BBT. And to be fair to Talon, Jonathan, this is not an easy matchup at all. This is arguably one of the harder teams to beat. BBT and Talon both sitting in first place, so winner of this one, Jonathan, will clearly be in the first place for the groups of Group B. But before all that, let's head off to a break, and right after that break, we'll be back with our Game 1 between BBT and Talon. We'll see you all again soon.